What's going on, everybody? I've changed up the lighting in here, as you can see. Hopefully it looks a lot better than it has in the past. Today I'm going to be designing this Happy Gilmore inspired poster using Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. Let's get started. Alright, so I recently watched Happy Gilmore. It's definitely one of my favorite comedies from the 90s. So I've just been recently inspired by it. So a lot of people do things with Waterbury Open with this movie, and that's great and everything. I love the Waterbury Open, but I think that I'm gonna do a Tour Championship poster for this because I have an idea of what I'm wanting to do as far as the graphics go. So I found this color palette over here, and while this isn't necessarily something that you would see today, maybe I thought the colors in this palette looked very 90s, very retro. So I've decided to go with that one. And plus, I don't know, I just kind of like it. It's got kind of like a like a Bauhaus feel to it. But that's not really the design that I'm going for today. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I think that I'm going to do a full green background, and we'll do a 1-inch margin around the entire thing. And let's see here. I think for now I'll go ahead and lock that. And I like that color of that green, and that's directly from that color palette. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to do maybe some kind of actually I like that gold back there because this tour is all all champions, so like these are the best of the best. It's the Tour Championship and we'll just call it Waterbury. So it's the Waterbury Tour Championship instead of the Waterbury Open. I'll just go with that. Sorry, I need some water. Here we go. Here's water. All right, give me just a second. Sorry about that. It's not all glamorous. All right, so I think the very first thing I'm going to do is I am going to kind of recreate this this Waterbury logo. I'm not going to make it exactly the same. I'm just going to do kind of whatever I want to do with it. And so we're just going to go in here. I like this Roboto slab. I'm gonna see if there's any other slabs that I can that I like, and maybe I'll just kind of choose from there. But I do like that. I do like that nice thick slab serif. It's also very 90s. So I think that I may end up going with Roboto, although I do like this one here. And let's see what that looks like. So let's I'd like to do this in white, like this, or maybe slightly off, maybe something like that, so that if we do come in and we add any kind of effects to this, then that color will allow those effects to show through. So this is actually a warp effect that we're going to be doing. I'm going to make this just a nice even 150 point type, and this is actually going to be an arc, and let's go something like this, -10. Wait, it's actually an arc upper, I believe, or lower. I promise I know what I'm doing. All right, so maybe something like this, and what I'll do is the one that's in the movie is a little bit it's a little bit exaggerated for my taste. I think that I'm going to keep it probably around -10% for the vertical distortion, and you know what, I think -15 looks good right like this. And I am going to bring this up a little bit, and I'd like to make this a little bit taller. So after I expand the appearance there, I'm just going to bring that up a little bit. And since I'm very particular, I'm going to make sure that we have an exact number here. So we've got 15 by 2.5 inches right here, and this is already looking pretty cool, especially with that green and that gold going on. And then I'm just gonna say Tour Championship right here. And actually, I'm not a fan of the condensed version of this, or compact. I'm gonna see if I can do something a little bit more, a little bit wider. I like that medium. And let's first off try to start off by going half the size. This is a little bit too big, so maybe 60 point looks pretty good. And let me see. No, I think I'm gonna do 1996 separately. So let's align that to the center. Align this. Let's go in and do some kerning. And for the most part, it looks good. Usually optical kerning will do a pretty good job of analyzing all of the letters and making sure that everything looks good. And for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just going to make a couple of tiny adjustments here. And I wonder if maybe if I bring it down like this and we can kind of spread the lettering out a little bit. I think that is looking pretty cool. Okay, I like that. And so let's do something like this, where I'm going to copy this real quick, and then we'll do the year underneath it. And I think that I may go a little bit bolder with it, and then maybe a little bit smaller. What if we did that? Okay, yeah, see, that's very 90s. Those really, really stretched out characters there. All right, so I'm gonna make a copy of this, put it over here for now, just in case I need to grab it, which I'm sure I will. Do this, create the outlines for it, and let's go ahead and move this to the top. And I'm gonna move it all the way to the top, and then we'll just kind of use the move tool, or I'll use the transform panel to make all these adjustments here. So I think 1 inch in from that point, and then we'll go also an inch on both sides, so it's nice and even. So that brings it down to 14 inches. All right, so then we've got to go in, and so this is that was 14 inches wide. So let's bring this down. 14 divided by 2, which 7, and bring this up just a little bit. And I like how the top of the type is aligning with the bottom of that type. I think that we've got plenty of spacing when we do that. I'm going to lock this gold right here. And I think that I might, let's see, maybe do something like this. And let's go ahead and get this outline. And since we have so few characters here, I'm going to ungroup these, align to the selection, and make sure that they are perfectly spaced out from each other. It looks like they already were, so that's good. And let's unite that, align it to the center. Good. And I might actually make this gold. I think that might look pretty cool. And one thing that was really big in the 90s were drop shadows. Like just about everything had a drop shadow. So you see a lot of that in 90s typography. But I think I'm going to do a perspective shadow. Okay, and we'll do this. Go super high like that, so we can make sure that we're good there. Oh yeah, we gotta... I think I ran into that same problem last week. I forgot to expand it before uniting it. So, it's a thing. Sorry. Alright, let's bring this out, and then let's unlock everything except... and we'll just leave those two locked again. And we'll make this... let's see, should we make this gold and the drop shadow white? Let's see. I think it might be best if we reverse that. Strike that, reverse it. Okay, that's much better. Much, much better. All right, align to the top there. And let's go in and fix this. Oh, wow, that's very pixelated. I'm actually really surprised that it's that pixelated because I built in 100 for the steps. So let's do this again. And I think actually, now that I see that, or now that I saw that, I think it was a little bit too long. So let's do this. Let's blend this, and we'll do 200 steps instead of 100. So that should... Wait, didn't we do that? Wait 1 second. Okay, copy, paste, lock. Perfect. All right, now blend. When you're talking through stuff like this, it's very easy to miss something. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and add that. While that's doing that, I'll take a drink. And it shouldn't take too much longer. There we go, perfect. All right, and let's do this again. Unlock, lock this back up again, and then what do we say to do? The white shadow? Yeah, absolutely. Or actually, no, I think it was the other way around, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Okay, good. All right, so now this is a lot smoother. You know, something like this you won't notice as easily as you would the other one. So let's continue the path that this is heading, and then we'll just add this in with our pen tool. Send this to the back, just so we don't have that weird, you know, that weird gap going on. And then we'll do the same thing for this other 9. And I just realized we should probably fill in the counter of that 9 as well. And maybe do the same thing for the 6. Since, you know, since we've got plenty of contrast there, and it's obvious that, you know, it's still obvious what the numbers are. We've got clear communication going on, so I think we're going to be just fine with that. And then let's do the same thing for the gap in the 6. And that is following that path pretty closely. Why is this turning into an entire... Oh, wait, hang on. Okay. There we go, much better. Okay. All right, there's a teensy bit there, but, you know, if this were a paid client, then I would probably worry about that. But since it's not a paid client, I really don't care about it, or do I? Maybe I do. Maybe I secretly do care. All right, well, that's good enough for me. Okay, so lock this, and then we'll grab all of this yellow right here, except for these. So let's grab all of that yellow and then unite all of it together. Wait, I locked it, didn't I? Oh, maybe I didn't. I actually think that I probably didn't. Okay, yeah, that's right. So lock, now grab all of those. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now let's unlock and make sure that we are doing what we need to do here. And I'm going to make sure that this color is the same as this color right here. I don't want it to be pure white, simply because we want to make sure that we apply effects to it, and we can actually see those effects if we're going to be doing that in Photoshop. And most likely we're going to. So, all right, so the alignment is good there. And then I just want to make sure that we are duplicating the same alignment underneath. Let's turn Smart Guides back on. Good. And then we'll just kind of go in this general area. It doesn't have to be entirely accurate. I like that. Okay, good. All right, so far that is looking cool. And let's see, do I need to... was thinking about maybe doing a perspective shadow on Waterbury, but maybe just a stroke would be good. 10 is way too much. I think 2 is good. And maybe we'll round it. Of course, it's got to be aligned to either inside or outside to be rounded. And I don't want it to look okay. Actually that's looking cool. You know what this is kind of reminding me of? It's kind of reminding me of like a game show or something. But that's totally fine. This 1996 is hanging down a little bit too low for me. I think that I may move it up just a little bit. Maybe just to kind of give it a more optically pleasing alignment there. I think that looks good. Okay. All right, so let's do this right here, and what I'm gonna say at the bottom right here, and I'm gonna do it in probably pretty small type, maybe like 25 point or something like that. And we'll just say, just tap it in. Give it a little tappy. Tap, tap, taparoo. I hope you all liked my Happy Gilmore / Adam Sandler impression there. I almost said Billy Madison. Okay. Let's see. -1, and then I could have easily done that, like just -2, duh. All right. So just tap it in, and let's see here. I believe that on this tour. Oh, okay. So let's do this just for fun. Just for fun. Some of the sponsors in the movie were Pepsi and Subway. So let's grab those logos just because we can. And I like this version of the Pepsi logo the best. That one's my favorite. I think you guys all know that now. And this is also the logo that was active when the movie was being filmed, or when the movie was released. And so let's go in and let's try to find the Subway logo from the 90s. This one right here is very reminiscent of the logo from the 90s, but I'm going to see if they have the actual 90s logo. Okay, there we go. That's much more like it. And for some reason, Brands of the World has been doing this lately, where it keeps downloading the last logo instead of it's automatically downloading the last logo instead of downloading the active logo that I'm actually on. So I'm having to open it in Safari and then go through there. So that's fun. All right, so let's open up Subway, and then I'll go get the Pepsi logo as well. And I think that, this is a poster just from a movie, but we want to make sure that it looks as authentic as possible. So I think that I'm just going to drop the Pepsi logo itself in, just the emblem, because that's pretty recognized. And I don't know what's going on here. We got a lot of artifacts going on here. I think that we will. Okay, that's looking better. Although it was kind of helping that, wasn't it? I think I might actually leave that registered symbol there. What if I do a mask on this? Let's figure out the exact size of the circle shape. So that is, let's do this. Just kind of change it a little bit. And then make this the same. And we'll just lay this on top of this circle. And we'll just mask it. Oh, that's weird. Oh, hey, let's do this first. Let's group everything together first and see if that works. It should. There we go. Okay. And I think that we'll just kind of bring it in a little bit. There we go. Just to kind of help get rid of some of those artifacts that's going on. Okay, it's looking a lot better. You know, it's not looking its best, but it's looking a lot better. All right, so we'll just say that Pepsi is sponsoring this event, and it may not have been that they were sponsoring this one. I don't think they were, but we're just gonna say we are for the sake of the poster. Let's align this, and let's figure out what that alignment is exactly from this, and we'll just match it. So 0.625. Perfect. And I'm going to go in and change the color of that registered symbol. Good. All right, and then we'll also go in and grab the Subway logo. That very 90s Subway logo with the stroke around it. It's very cool. And it's all one color. I think we're actually gonna just do this one. Yeah, that's much better. A lot more 90s. Right now, it's funny actually, because Subway's colors right now are pretty much identical to this green and gold that they've got going on, that I've got going on in this poster design. Okay. Let's do this instead. There we go. And we'll just keep that. We'll just keep that that margin on the side just like that. All right. I'd like to do something like maybe just a horizontal line just to kind of break this up, because I'm going to be putting a graphic up here, and maybe I'll do the same thing up here at the top. So we'll go down to the Pepsi logo there, and then just say -1. And I'd like to, I haven't looked at any resources yet to see what we should do here, but I'm going to just kind of, I'm going to see if I can wing it. I'm going to create, so I have this idea of the, you know, like there's the ball, the hole, and then Chubbs actually gave Happy Gilmore that hockey stick. So I think I've kind of got this vision of the hockey stick coming down and being behind the golf ball. And I'm not trying to go too realistic with it, because everything else on here is nice and flat. So I think I'm just going to keep it that way. And do we have anything? Okay, we don't have anything in the color palette that is like a black or something like that. So I think I'm just going to kind of make up my own right here. And I kind of like this right here. You know, don't want to go stark black, because we want to make sure that any effects that we do show up if we do anything at all in Photoshop. I think we might do something like that. There we go. What if we were to... Okay, yeah, I think that looks a little bit better. Okay. So we've got the hole right there, and then you know what? Let me take a look. This may be a little bit too large, so let's make sure that we want to make sure that everything is in proportion with each other, the way it's supposed to be. And what we'll do is we'll do the ball, and I think that I'll probably do that. And let's make the golf ball white. And like I said, I'm not trying to do anything like super heavy realistic here, so I'm not going to add like a texture to it or anything. I kind of like the fact that it's right next to the hole, because, you know, it's kind of calling to the joke in the movie. It's like, you know, like, why don't you just go home? That's your home. Hilarious. I love this movie. I might do some kind of like a effect or some kind of shading or something like that. I should probably have them match each other. Actually, I should probably swap those colors, right? I don't do a whole lot of perspective stuff, so you gotta bear with me a little bit here. Okay, I think that's looking good. Good. All right, and now, let's see, a hockey stick. I've never animated a hockey stick before, so let's see what we've got. Hockey stick. We'll just say icon. And let's see here. I'd like to see if I can find one. Let's see, usage rights, Creative Commons, like commercial and other license. We'll see what we can find here, because basically we're just going to be, I'm just going to trace it. And I like this one. Let's see, this says PSD. Oh, wait, let me just do this. I think I'm just going to go in and trace it. Okay. So, and I just need the one. I'm not going to use both of them. So let's do this. Set this opacity, and then go in and just start tracing. And I'm just going to use the pen tool, and I'll just kind of show a couple of different things that we can do here to round these corners up a little bit, and to make sure that it's nice and semi-professional looking anyway. But basically what you do is you create the corners, and then later you round the corners. So we'll see if my setup works. I think I probably should have gone out a little bit further with some of these, and then we can just kind of go like this. Move this over here. I'm not an expert with this tool, and I know that, you know, with using Illustrator you should be. So I'm just going to start again. Luckily that doesn't take too long. And I'm just going to go a little bit further out than I did before, so that way when we pull things in, we've got a little bit more room to pull things in. So, you know, it may not look exactly the way that exactly the way this one does, but that's totally fine. You know, but we can definitely make it look a little bit different. Okay. Let's bring it over here. And this is golf, not cricket. So let's make sure that we make this nice and large. And I like the idea of making it kind of like that. And then what we can do is we can slightly rotate it a little bit, just a little. Reset the bounding box. And I'd like I would really like for the ball to be right in front of the hockey stick. So let's just kind of do this, bring this over here. And I may actually, so I'd like for this line to be in the front, and then we'll just kind of bring this up. Let's make sure that we're following that same path there. And I'd like for it to just look like it's coming out of that line, or at least like behind the line or something like that. Okay. All right. I am actually really happy with this. I think this is really cool. It's funny, Waterbury Tour Championship, with you know, just kind of that hockey puck pushing the ball in. We've got the Pepsi sponsor down there, Subway sponsor, and then just tap it in. And it's nice and simple. There's nothing wrong with that. I think what I might do here is let's make sure that everything is aligned. It is. And what if I just like for it to be a little bit more tuned up here. Or actually, I think what I'd like to do, because I'm happy with the placement of these lines, so I think I'm just going to distribute these evenly. And then we'll get rid of that line right there. So that way Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. All right, Waterbury Tour Championship 1996. That ball is right next to the hole, which is funny. Let's move this over just a little bit. I think that creates a little bit more visual interest there. All right, let's take it into Photoshop and see what kind of cool effects we can do. All right, so we're gonna keep it pretty simple, actually. So this is a vector smart object. It's at 300 resolution, so we can easily scale this up. And I'm gonna scale it all the way up to its full size. Right here, and let's go into our resources and see what kind of effects we can do. I'd like to keep it nice and simple. So maybe something like a nice, you know, maybe like an aged paper or like a folded paper. Let's see what we got. I don't want to go too extreme with it, you know. Okay, I kind of like this one. And let's see what we can do here. You know, that way we give it a little bit of an aged look, but it's not too crazy. And then I think that maybe multiply might be a good one. You know, like we're kind of making it look like it's been, you know, pulled out of storage or something like that. Maybe it's had a little bit of damage. You know, this has been, what, 26 years now? Difference looks interesting when you invert the colors. Divide is looking pretty cool. I think that this particular paper may be a little bit too much for what I'm wanting to do. I'd like for it to be nice and even, without really any like obvious stains or anything like that. So I think I'm going to try this one instead. All right, so let's take a look at this. That's looking cool. That's looking really cool. That's very vibrant and very 90s. Overlay is it's making those colors way too bright. How does this look? It's looking pretty cool. It's very vintage feel. I think divide, actually no, divide kind of makes that gold a little bit more yellow. So let's do, I think I'm going to go with color burn. And let me take a look at what it's doing to this lighter color. Okay, I think color burn is going to make it to where those effects are not going to show through on the white lettering. So I might go in here and let's go into our vector smart object and make some adjustments here and see what we can do to make sure that those effects show through. And just changing it, just adding a little bit more saturation to it should do the trick. Let's see what we can do here. Let's close that out. Okay, there we go. All right, so it's a little bit better. Although I think that we may be, no, we're not losing any contrast there. I think that looks good. All right, so let's cover up some of those artifacts that we have from when we enlarged that texture. And we can do that by adding some grain to it. And we'll just keep it like around 25 or so for the size and the roughness. And go in here and we'll just do like an overlay or maybe a soft light. I think overlay is probably going to look better. And it's really nice, actually. We've got this nice, like, you know, this canvas type of texture, which is kind of mimicking grass a little bit. I'd like to go in and cover up some of these. I don't necessarily, like, I want the texture to be there, but I don't really necessarily want it to look like it's, you know, torn or anything like that. So I think I'm going to go in and clean up some of these textures. You know, it doesn't have to look super clean. I just like it to, you know, there's just a particular, and I actually do like this down here at the bottom, this kind of orange thing that's going on. I think that kind of adds to the vibrancy of the color palette. I'll keep what's going on in the gold areas. I just want to kind of clean up these black smudges in the green areas. Those little ones right there, that's fine. I'll leave those there. It just kind of adds a little bit more authenticity to it. And then I wonder... Actually, no. I don't think I need to add anything else. I think I'm happy with this. So there we go. Here's our Waterbury Tour Championship 1996 poster inspired by Happy Gilmore, one of my favorite comedies from the 90s. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed watching me make that poster. I had a really fun time designing it. I love this movie. Even though I watched it recently, I may actually go back and watch it again because it's got that rewatchability that's just so good. It's very, very funny. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe down below and click that bell for notifications. That way you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.